What do you guys want? The clone says the protagonist thought carefully and decided that if they returned the money they stole, he let this one slide. Not sure if the guy was being ironic, but he said it was a merciful condition. But he says, if you want the money, why not call the guards already? The maniac hunter clone says if they call the guards, collecting the bodies from the black market would take too long, man. Easier if the dudes just give the money back and they go back to hunting. That's the best proposal for everyone. The guy says, really? But I don't get it. How can a clone, just a skill from a hunter, be this confident? Already pulling out his sword, he says he's got a better proposal. How about you die here? The red-haired dude behind him is like, are we really gonna do this, man? Are you sure? The guy says, bro, you want to give it back? There's 5 of us. No way we lose to this freak. The clones already pulled their knives, saying this method is good for them too. Meanwhile, at the black market, a guy asks Wu Haiyan what she's doing there. She just wants to know who sold those corpses. The guy says it was a group of 5 Class B hunters. She warns, those are stolen bodies from Sang-woo. That's the dude the protagonist punched in the face, bro, and humiliated that other one. The guy is already like, boo boo boo, that guy, man. Who's crazy enough to steal from a dude like that? Yeah. He explains that it was his clones that got stolen since he's overseas right now at the Heritage headquarters. Our boy's inside the Skill Sphere factory, where 80% of the world's skills are produced. The protagonist told her he learned meditation and mana flow online, and she says you can even learn Fireball that way. The protagonist's like, huh, makes sense. So why do people buy skills? Why not just learn them? And she says, yeah, you must be thinking that. The reason is that it's extremely hard to learn certain skills. From gathering mana, changing its property while keeping it stable, to providing constant mana so the skill doesn't disappear. All that already takes 6 months just to perform once. And that's just for a basic skill like Fireball, bro, imagine the others. The protagonist already knows, yeah, it would take like 10 years. That's why skill spheres are used. Since the information inside the sphere is connected to the system, it makes it possible for even amateurs to release the skill instantly. Of course, the reason it's expensive is because it's very hard to make. Now the protagonist starts understanding why it's so pricey. She says, you're looking for a subspace skill, right? Luckily, we have one left over. She points at it, it's the subspace sphere. It costs, what, 10 million? The protagonist says that 10 million won is cheaper than he expected. But then she drops the bomb, bro. $10 million. In Korean won, that's like 12 billion. The protagonist got bugged out. She even warns him. Just for your information, this is one of the cheapest among all the subspace skills. The protagonist's like, dang, I knew it would be expensive, but 12 billion? Then comes the offer. She says depending on his answer to her proposal, she might even give him a discount, maybe even for free. How delicious. Our little protagonist got all excited. What do you want, girl? Say it already. She just says, your body. I want your body, Sang-woo. What? Warrior from heaven, just like that? Is that even allowed, guys? Back to the side characters that are all lying on the ground beaten up. The clones are going easy, they don't want to kill, but the guys can't handle it. They're desperate to die, throwing punches into the ground. Here comes an arrow shot from the friend girl, the clone blocks it and redirects it. She's baffled. How can someone block an arrow with just a dagger? Makes no sense. The other fools come swinging with a double slash, but he dodges again. Then he goes around kicking them each in the face. Another one, who's supposed to be the mage of the group but looks more like a village fisherman, tries to shoot an ice spell, but the clones dodge again. They pull a knife in hand. Damn, he grabbed her bow before she could shoot. Man, this kid's got crazy aim. Even broke her little bow. She's disabled now. Fell behind the mage. Well, he gave up, right? It's best not to resist anymore. The guy who started all this, he's like, impossible. But he's not completely blind either. He admits defeat and says he'll return everything. The clone says, all right then, please make the deposit immediately. The account number is, but something's coming. Bam. Who's this warrior girl? She shivers up shouting, fraud detected in the name of the Comet Guild. Crimes won't be forgiven. Guys, you can tell she does ab crunches, huh? Tell us, warrior girl, what's your skill? Lee Haiyan? Suddenly, all these little sparkles around her eyes, right? And we cut back to the other girl who asked for the protagonist's body, saying she was talking about the clones. If he allows her to research his clones, she'll hand over the skill sphere for free. The protagonist thought she wanted to touch something else. Oh man, he's the Chad. She says she didn't believe it at first when she heard about his skill, since usually clones are just illusions. The information about him hasn't spread outside Korea yet, so this is the perfect moment for this proposal. The protagonist asks, why do you want to research it? She says, isn't it obvious? To make a skill sphere. Boom, did you hear that thunder just now? Man, it was crazy. She says that to make any sphere, you first have to understand the skill, activation methods, mana flow, properties, and so on. Maybe it would even be possible to create a clone skill, even if a downgraded version of the protagonist's. The protagonist looks a little nervous, wondering if this is really the right thing to do. It's a 2.8 billion won sphere for free, and besides, he really needs the skill. but right might mean his cloning ability would become available on the market. The protagonist asks what's the difference between an awakened skill and a skill sphere. She explains it depends on the understanding of the ability, but usually there are a lot of restrictions. She gives an example. You saw Park Yuna's subspace, right? He says yes, he even entered her subspace. She explains that among all subspaces, hers is one of the best. The space is huge, no mana cost, no entry or exit restrictions. Meanwhile, the one created by a skill sphere can't hold any living creatures except the owner and their summons. You can store items inside, but you have to constantly feed mana to keep it active. So if they duplicated his clone skill, it would be something like that. And does he accept the offer? The protagonist, she's up to no good, huh? She says it's great news. Oh, he says there's a condition. If she agrees, he'll even summon the clone right now. Cutting back to the clones who got wrecked by the ab cruncher girl. The poor guy's beat up, and she's impressed that he even tanked a hit. The dude who started everything asks who she is. She says she's a hunter here to stop acts of violence and advises them to leave. The guys are leaving, but the other protagonist, Clone, warns them. Sorry, but you're not leaving before depositing the money. Bro, she was about to kick him, saying the decision's not his to make. She went for a slash, the clone ducked. She's impressed. But here comes another flying kick to the face. He barely blocked it. The side characters are fleeing, and the clone says, "We're recovering the earnings from our hunt. You won't interfere." She came charging in, stabbing hard man. She activated something that exploded inside the clone, saying, "What's the point of recovering if you're gonna die here?" Back to the other powerful one, who's saying he's going to lend the clone for 3 months. During that time, he'll have to cooperate as much as possible. However, if they destroy the clone, he doesn't have to provide a replacement. And even if they can't create the skill, he keeps his own ability. And the protagonist adds, lastly, you gotta take care of the clone's clothes too. She feels like she's getting the short end, but the protagonist says it's that or no deal. She seems to agree and tells him to summon one man. He stretches his arm, summons a naked guy. Here, take some clothes, dude, get dressed quickly. He tells her she can call him number 7, and he was supposed to be out hunting somewhere right now. She pulls out the big orb. Okay, checked your clone. It's real man. Now it's her turn to keep the promise. The protagonist activates it, throws his mana in there, subspace skill created. Information. Expands a space proportional to the skill's level. Mana is consumed to maintain it. Entry restriction applies to all creatures except the owner and summons. She congratulates the protagonist and asks if he wants to test it. He activates the subspace and a black hole opens in front of him. He puts his hand in, sees it's small, and it's burning a lot of mana. But since it's just to store corpses, it'll do. She asks, so what do you think, you rascal? He says it's perfect, just let him see if the clone can use it too. She's like, huh, what do you mean? The clone throws his hand out, boom, opens another portal. Your clone can use your abilities. He says, except for the clone skill itself, yeah, they can use everything he learns. Man, now she's drooling, saying she has to win him over. Okay then. The protagonist tells the clone to enter the subspace, and their plot twist. The clone enters the clone's own subspace and pops out from the protagonist's. Basically, it turned into a portal system. Since the clones and the protagonist are connected, all portals are 2. He gets clocked on the head though, confused about what just happened with number 7. Her bat flew inside the portal. Look at the protagonist with the clone laid out. He's like, don't die on me, number 7. I'm still alive. All right, man, I'm gonna avenge you. Already grabs her weapon. She's like, Opa, wasn't expecting a surprise. The protagonist glares, was it you who threw this thing? The clone says, it was her. Her eyes shine. She says, I didn't expect the real Sang would show up. What are you gonna do? Number 6 is all busted up. Number 6, are you okay? Number 6 says, well, bleeding stopped, but can't move my legs. Protagonist tells him to rest, cancels his summon. Then he asks the clone, who explains everything that happened. And it looks like she's involved with the High Song Guild. The protagonist's like, High Song, again? Always High Song? She's mad, saying the protagonist is too arrogant, doesn't know the limits of a rank B. Our boy ignores her and just says, number 5, cover me, and goes for another round. The scene cuts to Shin getting the message from the guys saying they failed and almost died. He's losing it. How can 5 rank B hunters not handle 2 clones? At least he sent the leader of Squad 2 as backup. That woman is a real monster. Oh man, she blocked the blade bare-handed. Excuse me, just because they call you a super rookie, you think you're all that? Whoa, you blocked protagonist's attack, but you hurt yourself too, girl. Man, she's got 67 strength, 45 endurance. This one's gonna be tough, protagonist. She even says, and I was wondering why the clone was so arrogant. Turns out the master is too. If you're rank B, you should be crawling. Already swinging a massive punch. Boom, explosion, ground cracking. Good thing he dodged sideways. Right away, protagonist realizes she's a rank A, but when she tried to block his counter, she broke her arm. Alright, maybe he can do something. Mana's already leaking out and she says, give me back my weapon. The thing zaps protagonist's hand and flies right back to hers. She says it's a high-class branded weapon. And what are you gonna do now with that little pistol? The protagonist's like, wait, wasn't her arm broken? Whatever in this situation. Man, now it's getting really busted, guys. He pulls everyone out from the portal. Dude, now it's over. She's even like, is this endless? The clone's like, we brought what you asked for, boss. Number 3 is at the hospital. Yeah, that I got nothing to worry about. That demon-eyed man of sword all glowing. She says she's confident and charges in. Protagonist orders, grab her. Good stuff. Chaos happening, explosions going off, she's rushing forward. His aim's all messed up, the skill's glitched. How the heck did a dimensional pocket skill turn into a portal? Meanwhile, she's thinking. She can't interfere in his personal matters, but isn't this the perfect chance to make him her one? And thinking about that weapon that flew toward the protagonist, it's a Tron company weapon. She can't miss the chance to mess with the Trons. Already calling, Dubert, you there? Bring the prototype. Guys, the real heavy gear is coming for protagonist now. Man slashing his thighs, his ribs, smacking his face. He's getting beat up. She says, protagonist, you're fast. But he's regenerating everything thanks to the fuego. She asks, you know what my skill is? Protagonist confused. Damage manipulation, level 64. Transfers a set amount of damage taken. Distance and transfer amount depend on skill level. Dang. She just wiped out a bunch of clones, protagonist, and the gang went rolling away. She's charging in like a psycho. He barely dodges. The weapon had some other function. Now he's floating in the air, can't dodge, and took a giant blast right to the face. Poor guy's completely wrecked, and her wounds are all healed again. Must be abdominal powers, no other explanation. She says she wants more or she's not satisfied yet. Protagonist whips out a little pouch, tosses it to number 5. Here, eat this. What did he just eat, man? Protagonist says, you should know, right? Aren't you from High Song Guild? He ate a crystal jewel. She's kind of shocked, acting all innocent. They were the ones who ordered Silver Moon to produce those. Mendigana was the one who handed it over. Protagonist tested it on clones and it doesn't work the same. Doesn't raise any stats for him. Plus, it turns them into monsters that won't listen to orders anymore. But she surely knows exactly what that stuff does. Now she's sweating bullets. Busted warrior girl. And the other girl didn't even bring a new weapon for protagonist. Demon eyes glowing, fists tightening. She tells him to stop getting cocky, says the crystal won't change anything in the fight, but he's already charging in. Dang, they're gonna clash face to face, and boom, she went flying. Girl bit her tongue, or what? Protagonist says, you thought you understood the stats boost, huh? But the power of turning into a monster is totally different. Of course you wouldn't know. She never ate one. Protagonist dodging another attack, man. The bad part now is that the clone doesn't even recognize him as master anymore. He already tells everyone to stay away from number 5. Meanwhile, the fallen girl is scheming something shady, whispering kiss fuego and hoping the guild handles it even if she ends up killing the clone. Whoa, what's she planning now? Jumping face to face, can't figure it out. Boom, took another hit, got knocked down. Dang, she's up again. Jumps again. Smacks him on the head. Protagonist, totally in shock. What the hell is this crazy chick doing? She's right up in his face saying, if I kill you, the clones disappear. The 2 clones rush in to save him, one behind her. Whoa, they even hit her. But she says it's not enough, she's tanking all of it. Wham, punches him again. Man, this girl's too damn strong. She even says she noticed the clones don't aim for fatal spots, meaning protagonist has never killed anyone. Because of the fact he's not taking it seriously even with the risk of death. Man, he made a little cut, saying he's changed his mind now. She sees he cut his own leg and asks if he's lost his mind again. But the kid seems like he's not messing around anymore. Man is already face to face, she hasn't even reacted yet. Blocked it, got pushed back. Almost got slashed on the neck. Yeah, keep thinking you won't go for the fatal points. The devil hits her with the King of Stompers, man, she barely survived this time. Dang, but managed to toss him upward. And 2 fireballs coming at her too. Yeah, my warrior girl ain't easy, huh? 30 versus 1 is tough. A fireball straight from his mouth too. Sus. Breath of flame, man, she's shouting protagonist's name, and the crazy dude closed the sword. What the hell? Throws it again at protagonist. Now it's serious, long range, can't dodge it. Something appeared, a little cape. What's that? Explosion happened, smoke everywhere. What is this? Locked it. Oh, look who it was, the other bestie. When they're enemies, it's all tension, but when they're friends, they get all soft-faced around protagonist, huh? She says it's the new prototype from Heritage, a lightweight cape with absorption and shield skills. She's certain it's 1,000 times better than the weapon that chick's using. Protagonist just says thanks, man. The warrior girl fell on the ground. Gonna give up now, girl? Demon boys above her, sure you wanna quit. She seems stuck, can't activate the damage transfer weapon. She's getting worked over, needs to transfer the damage, but has no chance. Already wrecked on the floor, boom, a soccer kick sent her flying. Thought you had time to rest? Look who's already on top of the girl. You did good, huh? Bam, right in the face, protagonist turning Marxist on her. A little flashback, when she left the guild to come here. White Mask says, Thought you were done today. She says the young master is looking for her. White Mask asks Shin Ju-young, he's in a lower position, why are you helping him? She asks if he hasn't noticed the vibe. This guy's gonna be the future president. White Mask says the eldest son, Shin Jun-wook, we haven't met yet, is his son too. She says that dude doesn't even deserve the seat. Shin Ju-young isn't perfect, but he's more capable. Plus, he's handsome. Well, that solves it, right, warrior girl? He asks what the job is. She says he wants me to wipe out some dumb hunter called Jian Sang-woo. White Mask's shocked. Tells her she better not go. She's like, why not? He's suggesting she shouldn't poke that beehive. Just stay loyal to the president and chill. She says she doesn't care. She's loyal to the future president too. He tells her she's acting like an arrogant kid and warns, you don't know Sang-woo, you're gonna lose. Haha, she lost all right. Looks like she's got more ketchup on her face than the pizzas I eat. Protagonist right next to her, all Chad-like. You woke up? Class of hunters really are different, huh? She asks why he let her live. He says he didn't. It was just coincidence that she's alive. She's like, you should have killed me, then you bastard. He says exactly what she said. He hasn't killed anyone yet. She chuckles and says his mentality is weak. And if he keeps going that way, bam, she gets the flat of the blade across her cheek. This is your last chance, he says. No one dies so you can go back. Take care of your life. And that trash at the High Song Guild. Protagonist warns, he doesn't like killing. But if needed, he's got 7 different ways to make it happen. She's like, ah, yes, sir. Opens up the subspace and everyone bounces. She's left lying on the ground thinking, should I really leave? Guys, you knew this would happen, didn't you? She says this was the sexiest thing she's ever seen someone do. I'm not complaining. After that, the thugs who were stealing the corpses of protagonist monsters disappeared. Number 7 was sent over to help with the research, and a bunch of new classes started at the academy. A lot of people who were hunting him stopped trying to mess around after finding out he took down that classic girl. But protagonist realized the timing was way too convenient, right when he entered the school. So right, someone from High Song here must have a conflict with him. Who could it be, huh? What's the secret? Protagonist already threw a, hey, where do you think you're going? Man, out of nowhere. He gives someone a scolding. Turns out he was just talking to a student, but the guy got so scared by protagonist's face that he totally panicked. For sure it was that punk. Scene shifts to a chapel where what looks like a priest with a big old star is telling everyone to sit down. Today is the day to pray with gratitude to the system. Protagonist sitting there like, man, what a weird class. Why are we praying to the system? She explains, didn't you check the syllabus? We're gonna learn about the system's history and have a system mass. Protagonist's like, and what's that got to do with hunting monsters, girl? She says she doesn't know, but hey, it's mandatory. The dude up front yells, silence. Oh dang, all right then. Protagonist stands up and says he's going to the bathroom. He doesn't want any part of this man. Heads to the bathroom, jumps into the portal, switches clothes with a clone. And look who's back. She's there like Sang-woo? Yep, it's Sang-woo, that's me. I'm back now. I'm Jung Sang-woo. Haha. Protagonist walking around all chill, clone style, until he sees Shin talking on the phone, all pissed off, complaining that a Class A hunter failed to take down some Class B guy. Protagonist shows up. What's with the Class B talk? Boom, Shin gets startled, caught spying on someone else's call. Protagonist's like, you got some nerve saying that after trying to mess with my hunt. Shin tries to play dumb. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, please. Right, of course you don't. You all read from the same script? Shin's like, huh. You should have taken the money when you had the chance, Shin says. Don't come crying later when you lose your hunts. It's your agency that's trash. Protagonist replies, I know you were born rich and looks like you got your dad's discipline too, huh? 'Cause you're acting exactly like him. Man roasted the guy in front of his own dad's shadow. Shin didn't like that one bit and says, you want to fight? Protagonist, you think I don't? Dang man. Shin says, last chance. Tell me what you want so no one from the guild bothers you again. Protagonist, the only thing I want is the elixir. Shin raises his arm, starts forming a giant fireball man. Looks like he held back earlier in the chapel to not destroy the room. But then a voice cuts in. Stop. Boom, a big circle shatters his fireball. What the heck are you two doing? Dang, another character shows up. This work is too friendly. So much carrying my eyes, you can tear up man. This is the Braba herself, Wang Yunhai, one of the 4 biggest like droppers on this video. But the scene shifts to someone else talking. Is that the ability? The other person answers, yeah, that's the footage from the weapons camera. Looks like there's a scientist there, man. He's amazed at the movements. He's never seen a living machine like that before. And what is that monster? How does that thing safely consume crystal jewels? They say they need a sample of that thing ASAP. They also mention they caught someone on video when the weapon went into another dimension, and they suspect they have a good shot at getting sampled there. Where's that other dimension? At the Heritage Company. Man, if you try going after our buff purple waifu, protagonist gonna get you, better be careful. The old guy seems to know her, saying she really needs to learn to share her toys. Get the storm drones ready, boys. That old man is Trevor, CDO of Tron, the one who made the Abs girl's weapon. Scene shifts back to the boys' brawl. He looks back all pissed off and instantly recognizes the leader of the Phoenix Guild. She even says, "Been a while, master." The guy's sweating bullets. "What are you doing at the academy?" She says, "I'm a professor here now." Protagonist's just curious, right? "Who's this lady, bro?" She says they need to head somewhere else first because they're drawing way too much attention. At the cafe, she tells them to spill what happened. They look like two elementary school kids getting scolded by their teacher. The dude tries to play it cool, saying, "Sorry, it's personal." Oh, a protagonist spills it all. "This bastard sent someone to steal my hunts and now acts like nothing happened. He's garbage." They both stare like, okay. The guy cuts in saying, "You're a teacher, right? As far as I know, most professors here are rank B and C." She lights up the prison ability, saying that now the academy doesn't just have F and D rank students anymore. So to control the stronger ones, they needed the Braba, the badass. Being 100% honest, she says she's here to keep an eye on these two. And the reason to stop them? Because soon they'll have the chance to fight all they want in the next class. Scene shifts to protagonist's clone inside a big cylinder being examined. The scientist checking the blood says it's something unexplainable. Doesn't make any sense. They pulled real blood from protagonist's clone. It's got real cells, same blood type, literally a perfect copy. They could even do a blood transfusion from the clone to the protagonist. The scientist says this is all made of mana. She says it doesn't make sense, but yeah. And the weirdest part, the clones actually seem like real individuals. They have the same skills as their master, but they have their own mana, not the master's. She's stunned, staring at the panel. No summit has ever been like this before, but then something happens. Everyone, the scientists, they're looking at a mess. An aircraft crashes into the building. Holy crap, man, a terrorist attack incoming. Everything's exploding. You see red eyes glowing in the darkness. What the heck is that? And the big robot says, "Mission accomplished. Prioritize securing the target." You already know what they're after. The Heritage people try to activate the defense system to repel the invaders, but the robots immediately start wiping them out, shooting and burning everything. The scientist even warns her, there's robots all over the place. She says, "Evacuate everyone now." Protagonist's clone stands up and asks, "Which floor did they crash into? I'll help push them out." "Man, calm down a bit, you're not that badass yet." The soldiers, poor guys, are getting wrecked. The robots are way too advanced. One of them tries to play hero, saying he'll draw the enemy's attention. It'll only buy some time, but it'll help evacuate the upper floors. He charges up electricity in his hands and blasts a robot straight in the face. Did it work? Looks like it did, dang. The man's a beast. But, well, there's like 40 more coming at him, my dude. And the robots, as soon as they detected his ability, switched weapons to adapt. So these aren't your regular robots, no sir. These are custom designed to deal with awakened ones. He's shooting lightning, robots are jumping all over the place, cuts and punches flying everywhere. But there's 4 blades coming at him at once. No way he can hold out. Until, slash. Something slices through everything. Who was it? The beast himself shows up, cutting it all down. The guy asks, "Who are you?" "I'm number 7. I'm here to eliminate the invaders." Dang, number 7's acting all independent now, the boys groan. The guy thinks protagonist's clone is the head of the 7th floor. No, it's not protagonist himself, it's its clone. And he says to be careful because there are still tons of robots around. One of those robots, upon seeing the clone, says, "Executing behavioral orders." It opens its big belly up, man, and says, "Prioritize obtaining the target." But we're back at the school where the strong lady is saying her name is Yunha, and they're gonna learn how to do sparring now. Basically, a little practice fight. From now on, in her class, it's gonna be simple. 3 versus 3 fights. All equipment and skills are allowed, and the team that defeats all 3 opponents first wins. The grading system is based on combat power, contribution, and teamwork. No secret tricks. Her class is straightforward. Protagonist immediately catches on, man, so that's what she meant by "you'll get your chance to fight." The lady bro, his bestie, is just eyeing protagonist. When his clothes change, naughty girl. "Any questions, you fools?" she asks. One guy's all awkward like, excuse me, we're hunters that catch monsters, why are we practicing fighting against each other?" Even protagonist says he's curious too, but you should have already known why. Protagonists face tons of shady hunters. She just pulls a face like, "Yeah, whatever," and says she was only invited to teach a class, so she doesn't know the exact reason either. But based on her experience as a rank hunter, it's not just monsters you gotta worry about. From loot distribution to conflicts on hunting grounds, illegal portal crimes, and so on. A hunter's life is full of trouble with other hunters. Or do you guys really think you're just gonna smile and settle everything peacefully, Keep in mind, everything happens inside portals. The Trembolona user, or maybe it's the user, hard to tell in this series, asks, "Since you said trios, is there a limit on the hunter's rank?" She gets what he meant. Since there are 2 people way above normal rank, the 2 troublemakers, They don't need to worry about it. If someone's way stronger, they'll get an appropriate penalty so they won't beat the crap out of everyone like fools. Ah, now that's cleared up. 400 groups, fools. See you in next class. Man, these college classes here are so quick. 5 minutes of class and poof, see ya. Protagonist standing there like, I wonder what this penalty's gonna be. Meanwhile, the lady bro right next to him is like, you're gonna be on my team, right, you punk? Protagonist. Of course I am, no doubt. But our boy gets a call from Miss Burchell, the girl from Heritage who's under attack. He answers politely. What's up? She's all nervous and sweating. Mr. Sang-woo, I need to tell you something. Protagonist. What's wrong? She says, number 7 was taken. Oh, they stole the big boy. Come on now, go get our guy back. It was supposed to be simple, but what kind of trickery did they pull so the dude couldn't just open a portal? Protagonist even asks, who would do this? No, better yet, how did they do this? Everyone's looking guilty. We see the flashback man, our guy, Clone, slicing robots in half. The robots trying to defend themselves, but there's no way against the dude. The lightning guy even gave him props, impressed by number 7's strength. That's when one of the robots recalibrated itself, restructured resistance modules and circuits, and bam, grabbed him by the neck. Number 7 drew his sword, about to strike, when the robot pulled a hostage move. I'll kill this man if you take another step. Man, no way the clone hesitated just cause of that, right? But yeah, maybe. Because the guy being held captive works for Heritage, and the standing order Protagonist gave was to always support Heritage, so the clone can't go against that. Looks like that's what happened. Number 7 even took off his armor, saying he couldn't let Heritage suffer more damage. And in that moment of hesitation, the robot caught him in its open belly module. That's the story, man. Protagonist says, don't worry, I'll check the situation. He activates familiar skill. Dang, he's trapped in there, bro. However, mana flow detected, activating skill protection protocol. Took a shock of millions of volts and the familiar skill got disabled. Protagonist explains that he won't be able to bring number 7 back with a dimensional skill because, well, the clone can't move. She says it's okay, it was in the contract. If they lost the clone, he wouldn't need to reimburse it. And here's what I'm wondering. She asks, couldn't you just terminate number 7? Protagonist started sweating like, I'm confused, what's going on? She says they'll bring him back anyway. And Protagonist realizes maybe they already have a suspect. She says yes. Protagonist says it's fine. He didn't plan to use number 7 for the full contract duration anyway. I'm still a little confused about what's going on, but we'll understand soon, I hope. The guy lying there says, what do you mean, terminate? She says, my dude, number 7 was a clone. He's not a person. Don't feel guilty? I don't know, man. I got bad feeling. These clones are way too realistic. Protagonist's thinking that maybe it's fine to leave this in Heritage's hands after all. It's a giant company, right? They must have a bunch of hunters ready to go, especially since he's surrounded in the classroom by a ton of desperate people begging to join his team. My skills would be helpful. Pick me. Man, what's with all these people? Get away, you lunatics. On Shin Jun-young's side, it's the same. A crowd trying to join his team. Everyone trying to get on the team with the Class B hunters. Protagonist feeling pretty confident. Looks like I'm gonna build a real powerhouse team. But then the lady bro Wang Yunhai comes over and drops the bomb. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Jung Sang-woo can't use clones during the fight. Big CE. Protagonist like, what? Why, my dear warrior? She says teamwork is very important for this match, and if he spams a bunch of clones, it'll be too hard to properly analyze people, so no clones, bro. Also, that's not even the penalty yet. Bro, they're nerfing him even harder. No clones allowed, he's gonna have to stand there solo. Now everyone's hesitating. As soon as they heard he can't use clones, they all ran over to Shin Jun-young. Our boy Protagonist got left alone. Well, not completely alone. Guess who came? Lady bro. She walks over. Hey, wanna be on my team? Protagonist. Of course I do. And that's when Protagonist also meets a new buddy. Koi Jung-bae, a D-rank hunter and student. Big tanky dude. Protagonist even jokes. I saw you running over to Shin Jun-young when you heard I couldn't use clones, huh, you punk. The dude's like, and no way, that was just by accident. What can you do, right? Rejected over there, he can crawl in back. Protagonist just looks at him like, Meanwhile, the lady bro is staring at Protagonist who like, you did the same thing, you hypocrite. Then the dude says he's got a buff based on his shield's defense, and he claims he's the best tank in the whole academy. Defense amplification. Shares a defense buff that scales with his equipment's stats. The defense stats and the number of people it can affect depend on the skill level. Meanwhile, the girl, who's geared up in combat gear, says she can create a mana ball. It's not as destructive as a fireball, but it's way faster. The loser guy's like, yeah, well, you know me, I don't really do anything besides clones. She roasts him. Stop clowning around. Protagonist. It's true though, isn't it? Poor guy. I shouldn't have joined this team. Protagonist like, oi, didn't you want to join Shin Jun-young's team? Why didn't they take you? The guy says he thought being D rank would be good enough for this academy, but turns out there were even stronger people than him. Suddenly, smoke starts rising. What the heck is that? Even a loser looks lost. And here come two new guys, New Moon and the Butcher. Clearly two super friendly and kind-looking gentlemen, right? Shujin is confident, saying, "At least these guys are Class C. Compared to that poor Class D guy, protagonist's team doesn't stand a chance." Will it really? Well, story moves on. Bogyo stop now, in a desert where a man is walking alone with a bunch of monsters wrecked around him. Those fin snakes pop out of the ground. But with just a little touch on the sword, bam, they're gone, man. He didn't even need to do anything else, just walking through a bunch of knocked out monsters. Even saying he forgot how to use this thing. He's in the middle of a desert where a huge mouth beast pops out ready to take a chomp. Man, the thing's gigantic. What'd he slice it to? The thing explodes. The old guy says he's still not used to it. I don't know exactly what he's talking about, maybe something in his hand. He also says he got a call from Heritage. Could he be the savior of Clone 7? Damn folks, it's the first. And it's rank Hunter, Kaizel Raven, the sword hunter. There he goes, can't see a sword without wanting to grab it. Back at the academy, our big sis is showing off. She activated Mana Fusion, twisting and spreading the mana flow. With her ability, she can weaken any magic, curse, buff, even cancel a skill activation. Damn bro, she's basically a Twitter user, a canceller. Haha, hilarious. Besides, all the damage her team takes gets reduced. So yeah, you guys can kill yourselves however you want. She looks at the crowd. Any questions? Man, everyone's dead silent. No one says a word. So she's like, alright, let's go. There are 6 barriers and 12 teams fighting at the same time. Winners fight winners. Losers fight losers. This isn't to find a single grand champion. It's so everyone can fight lots of times and get evaluated properly. And then, Sang-woo and Shin Jun-young, come here you punks. Drink this. Brew. I drink it for real. Where did it even come from? Oh, delicious. My god. Ah, help. It's a weakening potion, bro. I don't want to drink that, leave me out of it. They'll lower their stats down to the average level of the school's students, meaning E rank level. Man, that potion is basically a poison, but they say it's temporary. Don't worry. Maybe it was brewed by our potion homeless girl. Anyway, she says they have to drink it, can't refuse, and can't use a skill to neutralize it either. If they cheat, it's automatic F grade, instant fail. Now drink it, you brats. 4th team, Barrier 1. Look at them, standing face to face with who? Jung Sang-woo, our MC, and that shitty-looking chick. They're all confident like, he's got no stats left. Protagonist standing there like, huh, he's insulting me. But he's right, I really don't have any. The tanker Chumbai says, trust me bro, it's gonna be a great team job. Meanwhile, Shin Jun-young's also fighting on the side. He sees the guys in his team looking like bodybuilders. Man, what is that? They announce, drink the potion, punks. Protagonist pops it open. Shin Young pops it open. Glub glub. Thoof dang. You ingested the weakening potion. Strength drops to 23, reflex to 14, energy 8, magic 3, immunity to poison active. All the falling stats suddenly start rising again. Resilience, energy, magic, reflex. All going back up. Look at his face. Ah, so that's how it is, huh? Digesting weakening potion completed. Your poison immunity increased from 8.1 to 8.138. Meanwhile, scene cuts to some workers over at Heritage moving stuff around. Suddenly someone shows up. Burshul. Look who it is, the Swordmaster dude. He says, how long has it been? She's all happy to see him. He asks, what kind of madness is this? Who's the maniac that attacked the main Heritage building? She explains everything, talks about protagonist. And the dude's like, what? A real clone? Who would have thought of a skill like that? She says it's urgent. They need to find that clone ASAP. Raven asks, is it because of his skill sphere? She says no. She doesn't care about skill spheres anymore. She says that if they can do experiments on the clone's traits, maybe they'll finally succeed with a plan from that day. Damn bro, what plan? Even Raven says, if that's the case, then yeah, this is really important. The story says there's a stat that every hunter knows is hard to raise. Regeneration and poison immunity. Because to train regeneration, bro, you basically have to self-harm. And poison immunity is no different. You got to get poisoned to level it up. The problem is you become pretty immune to poisons once you reach level 1. And from there, to keep leveling, you gotta take some extremely dangerous stuff. But there's someone out there, right, who's been drinking lethal poisons like it's water and raising his immunity. Our little black-haired guy there, here, number 7, another potion, you sucker. Protagonist is just staring at his hand, thinking the stats are the same. Poison immunity even went up, so, well, like she said, he can't cheat to remove the poison and he can't refuse to drink it either. He drank it, bro. That's life. Green-haired girl says, we can start, get ready. Big guy with the shield already activates his buff. The extras are locked in. Battle start. Everyone charging at each other, but protagonist already right in front of the guy before he can even lift his sword. And protagonist sees the guy's swing. almost in slow motion. So he can dodge just like the clones do, disappeared midair, already at the guy's back, one down. But then he realizes, if I dominate too hard, it's gonna look like the potion didn't work. And then they'll probably make him drink something even worse. So he takes a clean hit right in the chest. Boom, gets sent flying like a ragdoll. His teammates are in shock, and he's there lying like, perfect. My acting was top tier. Everyone will think I'm just weak trash now. Big Night Guy even says, man, that's weird. I buffed his defense. Stats dropped, but no way you should fly that far. Protagonist. Yeah, true, but your buff is really effective. Thanks, man. The guys are confused. He took a sword to the chest. Looks weak, but got up too easy. Looks strong. Meanwhile, Chumbai comes swinging down to smash him, but Protagonist blocks it with his sword. Our girl pulls out her 3 mana balls. Big ol' little explosions. The guy tanks it, saying, man, it's bearable. And already shouts, focus the tanker first. Dude, clearly never played RPGs, huh, bro? Protagonist standing there like, how do I help without making it obvious that I'm still strong? Then he pulls a move. I won't lose to you guys. The enemy girl's like, get lost, stucker. Fires some kind of stone barrage. Hits him in the chest. Would he tank it? Would he fake it? He does a fake flying tumble. Rolls away all dramatic. Even headbutted himself into the ground like a clown. Man, he's full on acting. Whoa, I'm really tanking. This defense buff is insane. The mage girl's like, no way, my stones aren't that strong. You are impressive, girl, congrats. She gets mad, fires a rain of magic at him. But the big shield guy tanks it all. And in a flash, our boys win round 2. Protagonist peeks over. What's Shin Junyoung doing? He sees a C-rank dude Shin hired driving a bloody magic circle across the ground. What the hell? The guy's got another dude in his hand, bro. Victim's crying, begging him to stop. The other students are like, damn, bro. They're even begging for mercy. Stop, he already lost, man. One of the girls yells, break the 5th barrier before he kills the dude. But right then, she shows up. Didn't you hear her? Freeze. Magic locks him still. The psycho's even upset he can't smash the guy properly because of the magic trap. The creepy masked dude says he wanted to cut the guy up too. Shin Junyoung doesn't even react. Yunha notices. Probably she should have debuffed everyone's stats, not just the high ranks. Cause you never know, there's always sneaky punks hiding under low ranks. And she already orders, right, bring some healers on standby. Everyone seeing the guy being carried away went to ask Protagonist if he didn't think that was a bit much. Protagonist frowned a little but said to her that the chances of them facing off again are really low. So yeah, it's fine. Yunha says, have the winners and losers already been decided? The assistant girl says yes, that they'll draw randomly. But Yunha cuts her off. It won't be random. The second team from the 4th barrier and the first team from the 5th barrier will fight. Obviously, right bro, our protagonist is the little demon. Yunha figured it out in a second, bro. She saw Protagonist's first move and knew. Nobody drinks a weakening potion and moves like that. And it's not like he purged it with a skill, either. But whatever, she's gonna toss all the troublemakers together. At the very least, it'll make for a good show. Meanwhile, in Nevada at the Tron Corporation lab, someone's knocking at the door. Literally. FBI, open up. They're suspected of manufacturing illegal drugs, among other charges. But the dudes inside aren't opening up, just ignoring everything. So it's time for Big Joe. Straight at the metal wall, he's running. Boom. Explosion. When he looks, nothing. Not even a scratch. Then something pops out. A little machine. You guys getting nervous. Not a camera, bro. Ida, what's happening? A laser appeared. Some beams. Dude's already sliced up, apparently. Yikes. Man, that's cruel, bro. What the heck? But someone else is arriving at the same desert. The S-rank hunter, Kazal Raven, a sword hunter. This guy can't resist picking up a sword wherever he sees one, huh? Up ahead, he's already smelling burning flesh. Look at the big robots cleaning up. Brazenly, he asks, what are you burning there, robot? These damn robots don't answer, dude. Oh, you're going to ignore me? Let me change the question then. Is this the Tron Corporation? The robot says nothing coherent and comes to stop a punch. 5 past you has no chance. I don't know, kids. I'm thinking this guy is going to find something he can't beat. But he's going for it. Let's see what the Tron Corporation is like on the inside. Inside, the scientist who kidnapped the clone seems to be getting a better understanding of how the mutation gems work. Now it's just a matter of time before he solves the problem of the side effects. And he even says that if it weren't for this clone, he would have been going in circles for the rest of his life without finding the solution. But will humanity soon have hope? Whoa, the alarm sounds and warns the lockdown gate is destroyed. The guy thinks it's the FBI. Dude, but the system informs him. The FBI has already been annihilated. It's an S-rank hunter, the sword hunter who has arrived. Whoa, the scientist is in shock, saying not now when we've finally found the answer. Oh, he's scared. Will he be able to deal with it? You know what? He orders a sample to be prepared. After all, S-rank hunters are also human. Let's create a weapon capable of stopping him now. Yikes, he's going to pit the Protoss clone against the guy. maybe man. Graven reached a lower area of the lab that's full of corpses inside cylinders. He's wanting to know right where the clone is, until someone says, "Stop right there, Sword Hunter." Not someone, actually, it's the artificial intelligence system of this place, which warns him that this is the Tron Company's base. He can't be there. He says he knows that, but Tron attacked Heritage and he's here to rescue an important friend. The artificial intelligence slyly says it knows nothing about that, yet out. He thinks the same thing. Whoa, you can't even trust ChatGPT. The intelligence says it's not a request. Dude unleashing the horde of robots that are already falling from the sky. Damn, there are so many. What is this? However, he's not in the mood for jokes. It's just a little cut. What I see are just tin cans. Back with our little Proto and company, our girl pal is like, "Jung Sang-woo, didn't you say the chance was 20%? They're already face-to-face with Shin's team. The three of them are like, hee man, they're all screwed. Our boy to calm them down, relax. Junbei's buffs are the best, man. The guy is biting his lip, dude. He doesn't believe the Proto is a B-rank hunter. It's impossible for such a fool to be one. Shin Jun-young says not to lower their guard. He wants an overwhelming victory. And they're already coming, bro. The shield activates shield spread to give the boys a buff. And our protagonist knows he won't be able to fake it anymore. Yun-hai even asks to have more healers on standby. Competitors, get ready. Go. The beefy guy charges all twisted to punch protagonist, but protagonist just dodges. Already on top of him. The big guy throws a punch, but even with the debuff, it still hurts him the same. Thing is, the guy's not looking very affected, he's even smiling. Even though the protagonist got his stats back, he's still under Yun-hai's restriction, so his punches aren't hurting that much. Protagonist swung to kill, but it didn't work. The big guy counters with an elasticated elbow smash. Our protagonist wondering if Shin Jun-young is really under the potion's effect too. He's just standing there doing nothing. At least Shin shouldn't have as much poison resistance as protagonist. You know what? In that case, he has to be weakened. Protagonist charges him. He stares back and says, "Aiming for me first?" Snap, snaps his fingers. Thunder roars from the heavens, everything's breaking apart, dude. Our protagonist already dropped to his knees, all wrecked. The shield spread even got undone. And the bastard is still disappointed, saying it's not working perfectly, but it's enough. Our boy's down, and he tells protagonist, "Now just sit there and watch your team get crushed," grabbing a sword with a grin on his face. But back in the lab, all attack robots have been destroyed. The base already spent all its backup power too. The scientist asks if the drug is ready to inject. The system says they only managed to prepare brainwashing for control, bone strengthening, basic abilities, some physical resistance improvements, plus drastically improved vision and motor precision. The old man, he doesn't hesitate. Click, he injects everything. Back in the fight, Junbei is taking hits on the shield, bro. The chain attack from the dark mask guy is tough to handle. He slashes Junbei all up. The punk even tried to chop his arm. Protagonist gets spooked. He tries to go help, but the guy throws up a suspended force field to keep protagonist trapped. Just stares at him and throws a fireball. Protagonist sends a tiny one back, but the villain counters with a massive one and fires it back. Our boy, skilled as hell, activates dimension space and warps it away. Even throws him a big fat thumbs down. Ha. Our waifu's over there holding her own, fighting bravely too. Bro, she's the real deal. But the dark dude's ability is brutal. Contempt for the weak. The lower the opponent's stats, the higher his own get. Kinda trashy, right? Only helps him beat people he beat anyway. And now he charges at waifu to smash her head in, but protagonist saves her, shielding her. Wait, something weird's happening. Protagonist collapses onto the ground. What's going on? Our protagonist is going dark mode, dude. Deformation detected, new skill manifesting. Shin Jun-young, the filthiest villain ever, yells, "Take this chance and finish him." Mass psycho charges, lunatic boy charges, everyone's unleashing all their abilities, and Shin himself throws a fusion of fireball and wind blade at once. Explosion everywhere. The fire is spinning, but inside the flames you can still see someone standing. Big Lug tries to hammer him down with a double-fisted smash. Smoke blows everywhere. Friends are in shock, asking if protagonist's okay. Yun-hai tells them to wait, she's seeing something. On our protagonist, new passive skill created, Bone Strengthened. Bone Strengthened increased, energy increased, reflex increased, energy increased. Bro, the boosts won't stop. The dude with the contempt for the weak skill, he can't even use it anymore. The stat gap is too big now. New skill created, Indestructible Body. Dude's gone full demon mode now, white hair, dark energy. Base stats massively increased. Like 7.2x multipliers, bro. Strength doubled, from 32 to 62. Almost everything doubled. Dark boy's like, end it already? Yun-hai tries to stop protagonist, screaming it's dangerous. But when she touches him, boom, she gets blasted. Guy's whole body bends. He's launched. Explosion. Bro fell onto the ground, totally wrecked. The friends are all in shock, bro. No one can believe what just happened. Shin Jun-young. What the hell is this? And the demon-possessed one still says, this is how you end things. Man, you're screwed now. Back at the lab, a defense-related skill has been created. The system detected bone strength and indestructible body. The old dude is getting emotional, bro, saying the stat boost was incredible. Plus now, the clone's equipped with Tron's best weapons. A soldier who can beat something S-class has been created. Holy crap. He even whips out a Gatling gun. How's he even supposed to use that? Now all that's left is to see if the brainwashing worked. They reset number 7's hippocampus. Walks right up to him, pats him on the shoulder and says, from now on, your name is T01. The eye of the place warns him. The sword hunter has reached the 7th floor, 5 minutes until arrival. The scientist is all confident, says, good, I already got a mission for you, T01. Go eliminate that intruder. Yeah, right. Go, come on, move it, kid. But, wait. Number 7 slaps his hand away. My name is number 7. I only take orders from my master. Big lunch rejection move. He even says, this facility and its workers are now classified as enemies. Meanwhile, Yunhai realizes, protagonist broke her skill just through sheer strength. How the hell is this kid only a B class? Green-haired girl asks, should we go after him? Yunhai says no. For now, they need to take care of the ones that left the barrier. They notice that even Shin Junyoung didn't seem much affected by the weakening potion. Because the potion doesn't lower skill levels, it just weakened your ability to consume big amounts of mana. If it had really dropped his stats, he'd be gasping for air and dead tired. Meaning this fight was unrestricted from the start, dude. Masked Psycho is waiting for an order from Shin Junyoung, who's there biting his lips, seeking a protagonist. Masked dude even says, wake up, Junyoung. You're not seeing this. The demon's standing right in front of you. He finally wakes up. What am I thinking? Remembering what his dad said, get the elixir. It's your chance to prove yourself. All Rock Lee style, there's no option but to win, and he refuses to back down. Man, he even buffs his buddy, boosts his speed. Now his friend's all confident. With this buff, I can beat that monster. Buddy charges in, but gets wrecked immediately. His weapon shatters with one touch, and the speed buff, gone instantly. He tries to pull out another weapon, but protagonist is already right there to smash him. A wall of ice pops up, blocking the hit just in time. At least Shin Junyoung knows teamwork, huh? I thought he'd be more of a douche. Our boy's still going strong though. Every fight, he just gets stronger. Resistance to cold increased. Snatches the dude by the neck. Junyoung quickly draws 3 circles, charges up a spell, and throws it at protagonist. Did it hit? Bro, nothing happened. Protagonist still beating the other dude up. Shin's sweating bullets doesn't know